my name's Megan Rolfe, and for my final project, I'm going to be talking about 5 recommendations for emotional well-being. So here is my table of contents. This just shows what I'm going to be covering in my presentation. So the first thing is, what is emotional health and why is it important for your overall health? I'm then going to go into symptoms of poor emotional health, and then I'm going to go into my 5 recommendations for improving emotional health and well being, which are finding an escape, expressing emotion in a healthy way, exercise, importance of setting goals, and seeing a therapist. I'm next going to talk about the interactions between emotional, physical, and mental health. And then for my conclusion, I'm just gonna wrap things up and have my references and sources in there. So, what is emotional health and why is it important for your overall health? So, emotional health is based on how a person thinks, feels, and acknowledges and acts upon positive and negative emotions that come from the heart. So, with this picture I have here, I really like how it's showcasing emotional wellness. So, like, emotional health really comes from the heart. It all has to do with your feelings. But then it goes hand in hand with mental health because your mental health is gonna show and tell you how you're going to express those emotions. So, this is why these two go hand in hand, and this figure here perfectly shows that. So, emotional health is important for your overall health because it can lower the risk of disease, sickness, or injury. It can also help with recovering from a disease, sickness, or injury. You can also and would be able to bounce back from negative experiences quicker. It can help with stronger relationships with people, better productivity and performance and work and activities, having a sense of purpose, and strengthening emotional health can affect mental and physical health in both positive ways, which I will go into a little bit later on. So, symptoms of poor emotional health. So, there are a lot of different symptoms and that come with emotional or poor emotional health. And they're in a wide variety and they can range from changes in sleep or appetite, which are more minor symptoms and can go as severely as like anxiety, depression, and a loss of emotional control. So, for instance, with the changes in sleep and appetite, um, these symptoms are a lot more minor, and for a lot of people, if you have changes in sleep or appetite, your brain's not automatically going to be like, hey, I might have poor emotional health. It so it's that's why it's more of a minor symptom because it can be those two things can be symptoms for a lot of other things, and it's hard to just say that if you have something just by those two basic or symptoms. Um, but other symptoms of poor emotional health can be changes with mood, personality, and or behavior. Um, Difficulty concentrating, which is a big one, especially I've noticed it with myself, but it is very hard to concentrate when your emotional and mental health is going crazy. Um, yeah, it like makes it harder for like memory and thinking, comprehension, talking, writing, and reading. It makes it super hard to concentrate and do those things while your mind is in another place. Other symptoms of poor emotional health are poor judgment, heightened awareness, racing thoughts, which I just kind of talked about, and reckless behavior. And then, of course, there's also a lot more symptoms than that. So, my first recommendation for improving emotional well being is finding an escape. So, finding an escape means finding something that you love to do that takes you away from the real world and lets you escape, and it doesn't add any stress or any more stress to your life, and it really just brings positive emotions and gives you a reset. So, yeah, so why is finding an escape and a recommendation of mine, and what are positive effects that come with finding an escape? So, it can help you escape and clear your mind from the stress in the real world, so just like a mental refreshment, which I just kind of talked about. We all know how stressful life is nowadays, and we all need that little getaway and reset so then we can come back to it and come back with a positive more mindset with it. Um, it helps with giving yourself time for yourself and things you love. Nowadays, that's very difficult to do, um, especially with all the things you have to do, even as an adult. It's very hard to give yourself time and to do things you love. So, that's a good and positive effect that finding an escape comes with. It also it gives you self care, lets you escape and reset, brings creativity, mood repair, and reduces the risk of addiction and compulsive disorders or behaviors. So, my second recommendation for improving emotional well being is expressing emotion in a healthy way. So, why expressing emotion is my second recommendation, and what are the positive effects with it? So, it can reduce violence and outbursts. It can keep relationships strong. If you have a lot of those outbursts, your relationships are gonna just weaken. So yeah, and then it also improves with decision making and solving problems. It reduces stress and anxiety, and it helps with self awareness. Knowing that you're not expressing your emotions in a good way is very helpful to improving it because you realize that it's a problem and that you need to fix it. Um, some tips now for expressing emotions in a healthy way are recognizing what you're feeling, accepting your emotions. All emotions that you get are valid, and what you're feeling is what you're feeling, and you shouldn't be ashamed about it. Um, and so practicing like mindfulness techniques, which is like yoga and meditation, and then practicing empathy and what others are feeling will also help with expressing your emotions in a healthy way.